frequent tantrums, sudden mood swings, a burst of energy, and then complete exhaustion. Most parents assume this is just toddler behavior, but sometimes it's not behavior at all, sometimes it's low iron. And here is the surprising part. In toddlers, iron deficiency often shows up in behavior first, long before it appears on blood tests.
I'm a pediatrician, a researcher, and a mom, and in this video I'll show you the behavior signs that can appear first, why toddlers are especially vulnerable, and 4 simple nutrition changes that can protect their iron levels. Support the channel, like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's go! In toddlers, iron deficiency rarely starts with obvious medical symptoms. Instead, it often begins with changes in behavior and daily habits that parents easily mistake for personality or developmental phase. Why does this happen? As I explained in my previous video about foods that affect kids' behavior, iron is essential for 2 critical things in the brain: delivering oxygen, producing dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for emotional regulation. When dopamine drops, emotional control becomes much harder. And for a toddler brain that is already learning to regulate emotions, this can feel like chaos. That's why iron deficiency in toddlers often shows up very differently from adults. Adults may notice pale skin, dark circles, fatigue, but toddlers often show behavior change first. For example, unusual irritability, a child becomes very clingy, whiny, or easily frustrated. Less interest in play. The child tires quickly and explores less. Sleep disturbances, restless sleep, kicking legs, slower learning of new skills. Have you ever noticed something like this? But this doesn't mean you should immediately rush to the doctor for a blood test. And here is something surprising. In early stages, hemoglobin can still be completely normal.
Even blood iron levels may look normal, because what runs out first are iron stores, ferritin.
And those are often tested only later. So if this behavior pattern sounds familiar, the first step is often reviewing a few key aspects of your child's diet. And we'll talk about it in a moment, but first an important clarification. If behavior changes appear together with these signs, it's definitely worth seeing a doctor.
Noticeable paleness of skin, palms, or inner eyelids, dark circles under the eyes, unusual eating patterns, especially refusing solid foods and drinking large amounts of milk, strange cravings, eating sand, ice, paper, chalk, or dirt.
These symptoms can suggest actual iron deficiency anemia, not just low iron stores. And in that case, diet alone is usually not enough. Medical evaluation is important. And now let's talk about something interesting.
Why do toddlers develop iron deficiency so often, even when their diet seems perfectly normal?
There are 3 main reasons. The milk diet. This is one of the most common causes in children under 3.
False milk contains very little iron. At the same time, it reduces iron absorption from other foods.
And milk is filling.
So toddlers who drink a lot of milk often eat less meat, fish, and vegetables. If a child over 1 year drinks more than about 500 ml of milk per day, the risk increases significantly.
And many toddlers love milk, right?
The white food diet.
Another common pattern.
The diet becomes dominated by foods like pasta, bread, crackers, cookies.
These foods are calorie-dense but very low in iron. At the same time, they push out iron-rich foods. This often combines with picky eating, when children prefer familiar carbs and reject new foods.
Lack of vitamin C.
Even if a child eats iron-rich foods like
lentils or meat,
iron may still be poorly absorbed without vitamin C.
Fresh fruits, vegetables, and berries dramatically improve iron absorption.
But here is an important detail.
Vitamin C is very sensitive to heat, so cooked vegetables often contain far less vitamin C than fresh ones.
There is also a 4th factor, especially during the first year of life: introducing complementary foods too late.
Babies are born with iron stores they receive from their mothers during pregnancy, but these stores usually start running out around 6 months of age. So if complementary foods, especially iron-rich ones, are introduced too late, those iron stores may not rebuild properly.
So how can parents support healthy iron levels through food? Fortunately, the solution is pretty simple. Let's go through 4 practical rules. Watch dairy intake. Calcium from dairy products blocks iron absorption. After each one, children generally shouldn't consume more than about 500 ml of milk per day. But here is a small trick most parents miss. Milk isn't the only dairy food. Cheese, yogurt, and other dairy products are also count. This doesn't mean you need to calculate every gram, but it helps to notice if dairy starts replacing meat or fish in the diet. And here is the most important trick. Avoid giving dairy together with iron-rich foods. If your child eats meat or fish, try to wait about 1 or 2 hours before offering milk or yogurt. This simple change can significantly improve iron absorption. Limit white carb meals. Meals like pasta with cheese or frequent cookie snacks easily replace iron-rich foods. When possible, swap some carb snacks for options that support iron metabolism. For example, berries, sliced apples, dried fruits. These foods add vitamins and fiber without pushing iron-rich foods off the plate.
Serve iron-rich food regularly. Iron from animal foods, meat and fish, is absorbed much more efficiently. Plant sources like beans or lentils provide iron too, but far more less. And here is a detail many people don't know. If legumes aren't soaked before cooking, their iron becomes even harder to absorb. Soaking for about 30 minutes or longer improves availability.
But don't worry, you don't need complicated meal plans. A simple rule works well.
Try to include meat or fish once a day. If a portion is big for your child, you can split it between meals. Once or twice a week, plant sources like beans or lentils can replace meat. Just remember to soak them.
And here is one more important detail. Not all meat contains the same amount of iron. You've probably heard about red and white meat.
Red meat like beef contains significantly more iron. White meat like chicken breast contains much less.
So if a child eats mostly chicken nuggets or chicken breast, iron intake may still be insufficient. Including red meat once or twice a week can make a big difference. Recently there has been a lot of discussion about red meat and health risks. You may have heard claims like red meat causes cancer or damaged blood vessels.
Because toddlers actually need red meat in moderate amounts. I'm preparing a separate video where I look at the real evidence and how to use it safely in children's diet.
So subscribe if you don't want to miss it.
The iron plus vitamin C rule.
Vitamin C dramatically improves iron absorption, so try to combine iron-rich foods with fruits or vegetables.
For example, beef meatballs with sliced bell pepper, or berries as a dessert after a meat-based meal.
Simple combinations like this can noticeably improve iron absorption. So here is a quick summary. To support healthy iron levels in toddlers,
avoid letting white carbs dominate the diet. Watch dairy intake and separate dairy from iron-rich meals. Include meat or fish most days, with red meat about once or twice per week. And combine iron-rich foods with vitamin C.
And remember, if your child becomes unusually tired, pale, frequently ill, or develops unusual cravings, it's important to speak with a pediatrician. See you in the next video. Kids by Science, where proven wellness for kids meets real life.